Warning, PG-17 plus, mature content. This game contains disturbing imagery, violence, flashing images, sudden and loud noises, mature themes, and strong sexual content. Viewer discretion is advised. Ooh, how scandalous. Hello everyone, this is Maniac here, and today I am going to play Cupid, a visual novel. This is a visual novel that's available for free on Steam, and so I decided that I want to play it for you all today. Isn't that just quaint? Yes, very quaint indeed. So yes, in any case, yeah, apparently this is a very mature game. There was a warning that said this contains mature imagery. I mean, I'm nothing really bothers me, but I'd rather not have to censor TNA. It wouldn't be that hard, I guess. We'll see how bad it is, and if I need to mask it, I will. So yes. Okay, in any case, let us begin. I love you. I love you, I love you. I love you. There's no need to explain, it's only natural. A mother loves her daughter more than anything else in the world. Aw, that's sweet. He hates you, doesn't he? The whole lot of them despise you, don't they? Chasing you into the forest and gouging a hole into your leg. All because you smiled at their husbands. And you know what? You deserve it. Mean! Rude! Rude! How dare you say that to your precious young child? If you are this person's mother, you should be supportive of how they appear and how they are. Don't call them a freak. How dare you? You freak. You disgusting, horrible, filthy little girl. Didn't I tell you to stay away from them? You never listen. Serves you right for being the little slut you are. It's harsh. But you don't have to worry, my darling. It's alright. Even if the whole world wishes you dead, I promise you this. Your mother will always be by your side. My goodness, child, whatever has happened to you? Owie, it hurt! A girl was slumped in the doorway, soaked by the rain. Her legs were covered in dirt and blood. She lifted her head upon hearing the priest's voice and stared at him with blank eyes. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. She hobbled forwards, her bloodied leg giving way. Automatically, the priest rushed forward to steady her. Years of spiritual training had prepared him for the most unexpected guests to his church. He sprung into action. He ushered her to a pew, brought out some clean cloth and antiseptic, and began to bandage the wound on her leg. Yet through all this, he found he couldn't take his eyes off her. He would be gazing at the roll of bandages in his hand, deciding how to tie them. And then, out of nowhere, he would be staring into her eyes. Oh, I'm getting some Taylor Genji vibes here. Don't be attracted to little girls, please. It's bad and wrong and mentally harms a lot of people, so please don't. Even with all the mud and grime smeared across her face, he couldn't deny that she was absolutely beautiful. Ugh. How old was she? 20? 18? 16? Two of those answers are okay-ish. One of those answers is not. I'm hoping she's 20. Her face was so young. The priest had long since aged past the desire for the opposite sex, but somehow, something about her enraptured him. Please don't, Mr. Priest. I know the Catholic Church has a bad reputation for doing things to poor innocent children, so please don't. When he realized his own thoughts, he quickly steered his mind toward other matters. My child, what happened to you? She seemed to take all the time in the world before responding. Well, you've been eyeing her rather creepily, so, I would too. He looked at me. Looked? He looked at me, and he touched me. And then he started to kiss me. At first, the priest didn't understand. Then he realized with a jolt of anger what she meant. Good job, priest. I appreciate what you were doing. I'm glad that you're keeping to your oath of celibacy for now. You better not break it later on, otherwise I'm going to have some very strong words with you. Yeah. Ugh. It was happening more and more often nowadays. The young men of France these days were spirited, uncontrollable ruffians. A lady walking home by herself one night would be prey to a few number of them. Ooh, that's not good. Lust. My least favorite of the seven deadly sins. One of the seven deadly sins. The one that the priest personally despised the most. Yep, Priesty here and I are on the same wavelength. We don't want to fuck nobody. Furrowing his brow in sorrow, the priest had laid a hand on her thigh. No, 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 don't. You are safe now, child. God's house is a sanctuary for the faithful. You better keep to that, Mr. Priest boy. I don't think he'll protect me. He looked at her in confusion. You see, Father, I have sinned again. Did you lie? Right there among the pews, before the altar of God, she bowed her head. I'm sorry. Was she apologizing to him or to someone else? Her hair hid her face and her eyes, and the priest could make neither head nor tail of her. Is she gonna murder him? He suddenly realized that his hand was on her thigh, and he hurriedly drew it away, like a good priest should. I'm sorry. She repeated this phrase over and over. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. After a while, the priest got up. Don't fret, child. You are not to blame. I will contact the local constable, but in the meantime, you are free to make yourself at home here. And don't you dare do anything, priesty. I will fetch you a hot drink, like a good priesty. Aw, he patted her hand and left to go to the back room. She remained seated on the pew, her head bent forward. As the priest's footsteps faded away, the entire church fell into silence. Why are you frozen? Now that it was the dead of night, the clouds covered the sky. Barely a sliver of moonlight filtered through the stained glass. Is she a werewolf? The girl sat alone in a ring of darkness. Is she summoning demons? Huh? She opened her mouth. No, I know. I may say my piece, surely. Yes. Yes, mother. Sounds like you got a shitty mother. Sounds like you got a shitty telepathic mother. Mm. Mm. I nothing nothing irks me more than bad parents. Mm. Just saying, I love my mother. I love my mother. And apparently this game you are playing from the point of view of the mother. So I'm gonna do my best to make this shitty ass mother as good as she can be. I want to look up to my mother and say, yes, I'm gonna be like her. I'm gonna be like her. I'm going to unconditionally love my child no matter how much she may fuck up or when she doesn't fuck up. Because we all make mistakes. We're all only human. I'm going to be like my mother in this mothering game of motherhood, of mother. 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 But he is so very kind. Haven't you learned haven't you learned your lesson, idiot? I fear for your safety. I fear for your safety. Child, follow mother's words and leave. I'd give the priest the chance. If he starts anything bad, that's when you run. You saw the look in his eyes, didn't you? I mean, also, we apparently are able to detect what he's doing. So, I think that if he should be given the benefit of the doubt, he would, honest mistakes, they happen. You saw the look in his eyes, didn't you? You cannot stay here. Even a man of God can stain you with the filthiest colors. Mm. Be a good girl and follow mother's words. No, bad. Instill some independence in your lady. Mm. But it is cold outside, mother. The rain has not let up. Can't I stay? All right, I suppose you can. But you must be wary of everyone in this church. Do you understand? You are so weak, my darling. You give my heart so much pain. I I'm sorry, mother. I will try my best to stay out of trouble. How am I going to mind you like this? You attract so much misfortune everywhere you go. Is that her power? Is she unlucky? Ugh. This is your fault, my poor child. My poor child. My stupid little girl. Hey, 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 hey. Children are only stupid if they have bad role models and they weren't given enough opportunity to be able to, become more intelligent and smart. Or they were pampered so much that they were sheltered from everything that in the world that could harm them, and therefore became stupid because they have no idea what the consequences of their actions are. And there are various other reasons that lead to people being stupid. She doesn't seem that stupid to me. I don't think you're stupid, Miss question mark question mark question mark. I think that I might be stupid, but I don't think you are. I think you deserve a chance. Always a blight, aren't you? How dare you? How dare I? Whatever will you do without me? I'm sorry, Mother. Thank you for always guiding me. It is all my fault. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's just circumstances around. I don't know what they are, but it's probably circumstances. Mm. The girl sat in silence. Mother was right after all. She was always right. Everything was her fault. Says who? Not me. Not me. Mother might, but not me. Her fist shook with a mixture of fear and conviction. She had to do penance. For what? Mother, give me strength. There is something I wish to do. The girl rose from the pew. In front of her was the altar. On top of the altar was an ornately decorated cross. Ugh. It was it was as wide as her head, and the tip of the cross had been crafted such that it was razor sharp. Please don't cut something. Don't murder, please. And don't cut yourself either. She left the pew. She left the pew, knelt briefly, and then walked over to the altar. Don't tell me. You're quite sure you're doing this? The girl's arm trembled ever so slightly. What other way is there for me to atone? Please don't literally beat yourself up over this. Please don't. I'd rather you not. She picked up the cross. Oh my darling daughter. Mother is proud of you. I don't think I am. No. Slowly she brought the sharp end close to her face. So close that it hovered just above her left eye. And then she gouged it on out. Happens. Chapter 1. The Star and the Rose. Oh, what cheerful music! And look at these wonderfully vectored backgrounds. Oh yes. A scruffy young girl in tattered clothes peeked through the open gates of Chateau du Sommelier. Oh, did she jab out her eye? Oh, that's just sad. Oh, no. I just hope it's a scar. She just has a scar because, I think that eye scars have a certain aesthetic to them that can be sometimes attractive. Not that I find her attractive because she's too young for me, probably. At the very least, it's very heavily implied that she's a teenager or younger. Yeah. An afternoon couture was being held in its gardens. I don't know what a couture is. People from high-class estates strolled around the manicured gardens while chatting loudly with one another. Like me! There were beautiful ladies clad in silk and velvet, their necks adorned with pearls and jewels. Let's steal. A variety of foods was displayed on the tables. The girl stared at the food. She hadn't eaten properly for the past few days. Mmm. Are you hungry, child, or we must not linger? I mean, we're obviously out here for something, so yeah, we must not linger. We must not linger in this place any longer. I detest it. I wouldn't say I detest it, merely that I don't want to catch any undue attention from a bunch of royals and, rich assholes be rich assholes and, they are often more than willing uh to abuse the underclass just for their own amusement. And so I recommend we move along unless you plan on robbing them. Haha. Surely we can look around for a bit. It's still a little early. There was something there was something else that called to her other than the party itself. She walked to and fro from the gates, peeking at the crowd despite the urgings of her mother to leave. Just a tiny glance would be enough. The girl smiled at the thought of him. The owner of the chateau, Marquis de Gull. The girl was drawn to him. He wasn't the same as other people. He seemed different somehow. He was kind to her and would always hand her food when she delivered flowers. Her heart felt at ease with him. He is the same as everyone. I do not care for him. I'm gonna go with the like I don't want to control my daughter here. Like, come on, like, I don't want to be too controlling. I want to, if he's gonna break her heart, hopefully not in a really bad way by like raping her or something like that. If he should be given the benefit of the doubt, and I shouldn't just be judging him just because my daughter likes him. He is the same as everyone. He is the same as everyone. Greedy, insatiable. Maybe not for you, but for something else. But he is a kind man, Mother. Don't let his kindness fool you. Sweetest tongue, sweetest tongue hides sharpest tooth, child. She bit her lip. Why do you even bother with him? Mm. Well, I mean, it's fair for you to want to protect your child, especially, like we don't know anything about this guy other than the fact that he's relatively nice to her during when she delivers flowers. But actually, you can actually tell a lot about a person by how they treat. I can use a really terrible phrase here. I guess you can call it the help. Mm, the help. That's just a disgusting prospect. But people who for lack of better terms, serve you or are assisting you with something, such as waiters, wait staff, and chauffeurs or whatever, what have you. You can tell a lot about a person by how they treat those people. And so the fact that he seems he seems to treat her rather fairly, might prove that he's not that bad of a guy. I just hope my intuition's right. Mm. He He makes me feel that there are still good people in the world, Mother. There are no more good people in the world, child, or it's hard to say. I would say it is hard to say. It is hard to say, of course, dear. We do not know the real intentions people have. One can hope that real charity exists. Ah, neoliberalism. But even good people will always put their needs first. Well, in a world of like capitalism and stuff like that, you have to. You 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 can't always help others. You have to take care of yourself before you can help others. You need to make certain that you can continue to survive, even if that means having to sacrifice the well-being of some other people. It just shouldn't be at more of a sacrifice than is I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I got off track. Okay, people will always put their new needs first. Even your precious Marquis. D don't you think I'm a good person, Mother? Well, I don't know anything about you. You've never have given me anything about what kind of person you are, other than you're a bit shy. You lambast yourself for I don't know what. I mean, I don't know why you gouged your own eye out. Like, what did you actually do? Did you do something? Did you do nothing? So for now, I guess I have to think that you are a good person. Of course I do. You are special. Of course, child. You are special. Oh, I don't think that being good is anything special. I think that people, generally speaking, try to be good, and um, you know, people try to be good but are usually neutral. Um, so yeah. Haven't I raised you as such? I have tried my best, my dearest. Yes, mother, you keep me right. I love you. Aww, thanks, daughter. Rose girl. The girl stared at her shoes and looked around for a bit, hoping for just a glance before she left. And there he was. There's no harm in looking, she reasoned. She would never enter the Marquis's world. Let her heart be let her heart be filled with hope. He turned his eyes in her direction. Did he smile at her? The girl's heart stopped. Did he recognize her? She beamed. Ah. Is this creature deaf as well as dumb? Might, might be. Poor thing. Mademoiselle. A voice called to the Rose Girl. She gasped. It seemed that somebody else had noticed her presence. She turned to leave. Oh, no, my dear. Poor little creature, don't run away. Oh, okay, what's a good pitch? Charlotte, she stinks. Don't touch her. Come to crash the party, little urchin. You hungry? Her stomach gave a low grumble. She was always hungry, it seemed, no matter how much or how little she ate. Well, that's how poverty works. Your stomach, your body just you're literally starving. Your body will take as much energy as it can get. And so, yeah. I feel numbness. Yeah. Encouraged by the kindness the Marquis had shown her, the girl approached the woman. I wouldn't trust these court ladies. She teetered towards their table. What are you selling? Look at this poor creature. Is she selling roses? These are all ugly ones. I mean, I don't like roses that much. I mean, roses are fine. Just flowers are just not my favorite. But not as appalling as the rags she is covering herself in. Are you trying your best to be this repulsive? Fuck you, Court Lady 3! Now don't be mean, Antoinette. Is this Marie? If it's Marie, I hope we can, you know, do a little bit of, history, we can say. Perhaps it's the commoner fashion nowadays. They laughed while gawking at at her and her wares. Ugh. Oh my, she only has one eye. Yeah, that's what poverty'll do to you, asshole. Ghastly, but I can't look away. Don't just stare, that's just rude. The other lady nodded her head. Like a sideshow attraction, you mean? The freaks at the carnivals. She's darling in her own dirty, monstrous way. Fuck you, Court Lady 1. Fuck you, Court Lady. Fuck you all y'all. Look, all y'all Court Ladies. Y'all all shallow bitches, and I hope you die. I hope you die. I hope the French Revolution comes and kills you all. Kills y'all. Maybe we can keep it. Hello, do you want some bread, urchin? That's just... She's a human being, not dog! Well, speak up. Maybe her tongue is short. Add that to her list of sterling qualities. Quiet, Antoinette. Come on, don't be shy. Do you want some food? Let us hear you speak. Yes, madame. What? Yes, madame, I would be grateful. One of the ladies clapped in mockery at her reply. Wait. You can't hear that, but I'm clapping with my middle fingers. Ugh. Fuck these ladies. Oh, she talks. The ladies handed her the bread. I hope that you didn't poison it. But it was snatched away just before her fingers grazed it. Not before you dance for us first. Uh, if you kill them right now, I wouldn't be opposed. So go on, kill them. Kill them both. Oh, make her do a headstand. I've seen one of those street people do that. Quite marvelous. Not everyone has the same physical capabilities, asshole. Now I'd like to see that. This party is getting quite boring. Well, come on, Mabette. Dance for your food. The girl looked at the beautiful, cruel faces of the women. I can't imagine that they're that beautiful. That look on them. It was a burning desire to hurt something simply because they could. As rich people do. She knew that look. Before they touched her and hurt her, they had that burning look in their eyes. Oh, look what you did, Claudette. She's shivering like a leaf, poor thing. The lady was laughing as she said those words. I didn't do anything. She should be grateful. We're offering her this much. You live in such opulence and splendor that you could easily spare some paltry food for the poor, and alas, you don't do it. Besides, these commoners are supposed to be jolly in their misery. Yeah, not really when rich people are bullying them. You know, just saying, like, it's not a bad thing to be happy living an honest life, as they say. You know, doing labor of some kind. But, you know, grass is always greener, and rich people, man. Come on, girl, show us your joy. The girl moved away as they laughed. Mother, please save me. Mother. Didn't I tell you to leave? Didn't I tell you people are cruel? I don't honestly believe that people are always cruel, but, you know, I'll say, didn't I tell you to leave, insolent child? Now you call for me. Try to deal with this situation yourself. Grab the knife off the table and stab them 50 times. You had put yourself in this position anyway. What a bad I mean, we're just a telepathic voice in our head, I guess. So really, what can we do to help other than smiting godly fury upon them? But you know, you can. I would tell her to just leave it be, and to ignore them. I don't know. That's the best thing I can think of in this kind of situation. Either that or taking the knife off the table and stabbing them 50 times. I hope you learn your lesson. Hey there! Hey there! I don't know who this person is, so. Hey there! A child's voice called out from behind her. Belonged to a girl around 7 with chubby cheeks and a look of curiosity in her eyes. She wore an old blue dress, somewhat patched at the corners, but kept clean and tidy. I'm guessing middle class? She was not rich, but she had an air as if she owned the ground she stood on. Or she's just cool. Or she's an asshole. Another commoner! This party is absolutely teeming with them! Then why don't you go home like the little bitch you are? The Marquis loves these things. He heard he picks them randomly from the street. That can have very negative connotations. I'm really hoping that I'm not correct in them. Maybe I should get me one too. Do you think it's fashionable? Do you think it is a fashionable abroad in his birth country, I mean, he's from America. I mean, I guess it could be slaves. Or, you know, a lot of other countries had slavery. I don't know exactly when this takes place. The institution of slavery could be still in effect. Persia? Such a while ago. I don't know when the Persian Empire fell. When did Persia? I don't know. I can't remember. No, I heard he was from India. I heard the rumor that he's the bastard of a Greek queen. How long has it been since those existed? I don't know. Goodness, that is so far-fetched. I can barely pronounce his name, though. He really should change it to something more acceptable. Oh, colonialism and your everlasting influence upon this earth. You horrible, horrible event and scum. Just saying, I might butcher the name, but I will at least try my best. Who knows what kind of demons he might attract with such a blasphemous name? Ah, fuck you. Aha, it must be why all these nasty, horrid little creatures flock around him. Or he's genuinely generous and kind, either that or he's a creep. Ooh. Devil or not, I'll forgive him if he kisses my hand. I mean, if you're honestly ladies of the court, then by politeness rules, wouldn't he do that by default? I don't know. I don't know much about about French hierarchy during this period, whatever period this is. The ladies laughed. Talking about unacceptable names. Salope, aren't you shameless? Don't lie, we all know why we're here. The ladies gossiped among themselves, openly ignoring the girl. The young girl took the slighting with a shrug. Good job, girl. She approached the table and asserted her presence. What you doing? Goodness, they don't take a hint, do they? Throw something shiny, it might distract them. I hope you get stabbed 27 times in the chest before bleeding out a very slow and painful death. Hey, you've been holding that bread for a long time. Aren't you gonna give it to her? She pointed at the shabby rose vendor. Why do you care? Do you want the bread for yourself? I bet she's hungry too. I know, maybe you should toss the bread and see if they'll fight for it. I mean, bread off of the ground is still better than, you know, no food at all. Bread and circuses, bread and circuses. The girl stared at them with confusion. Her brows furrowed in a childlike understanding. Stabbed him 37 times in the chest? Next thing everyone knew, she swiped the bread from the woman's hand. Oh my. How rude. Horrible, filthy girl, give that back. No, you have plenty of food. Go fuck yourself. The girl sniffed the piece of bread and nibbled at the surface. Yummy. It's still warm. She shoved the bread in the urchin's face. The scrumptious scent of bread flooded the rose girl's nose. Lick it. Lick it. The sugar. No, okay. Lick it. The sugared butter tastes good. No, you devil child. Give that back. Fuck you. The urchin licked it. Her tongue coated in sweetness. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh, this is gonna just make me hungry, isn't it? She stood there, squeezing the taste in her tongue. The girl grinned at her, and she couldn't help but grin back. Sorry, here. It's all yours. Ooh, disgusting. Like we're going to eat anything that's been in your filthy mouths. Wow, so it's ours now? You ladies are so nice. Yeah, assert your dominance, girl. I like you, little girl. Cheeky little brat, I'll have you thrown out of this party. I'll have you hanged. No. Oh, hello. A young man strode to the commotion. A sweet scent lingered as he passed. The rose girl felt her mouth well up. With, with the scent of roses? I mean, you can eat roses, but they're not exactly the most appetizing thing in the world. His presence filled her body, almost as if her hunger was abated. Okay. She blushed furiously. What a strange effect he had. Ladies, Gilme, 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 Gilme. I'm just gonna guess that that's what how you pronounce his name, Gilme. Um, that's pretty French to me. Hmm. Oh, Sire Gilme. I just came to check in on my esteemed guests. Is everything all right? Are you enjoying yourselves? One of the ladies started fanning herself with obvious annoyance. Oh, how dare the impudence of this man! Well, these beasts have been harassing us. Yes, my lord. We were just minding our own business when this girl swiped the food off our table. I mean, technically speaking, isn't it his table? Horrible little nits. The girl stuck her tongue at them. Eh. The lady wiped her eyes and mocked tear. I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt by a little child sticking her tongue at me. I've never seen a child before in my life. Oh, the impudence! Who knew? See, look at that. It's absolutely monstrous how these children act around adults now. You complaining to literally the oldest complaint in the fucking history books. Yep. Oh, people these days, no, it's not like my day. It's not back in my day when kids would be whipped for dare showing such impudence. Ooh, how dare these kids not know their manners? Ah. There is no respect, Messiah. Missouri. I worry for the next generation. Fuck you. Fuck off. Oh, Charlotte, don't cry. Well, my lord, we could breathe a little easier if these children were sent on their way. Yes, who knows what kind of mistress they might be up to. They might set fire to the tables, you see. Hopefully they'll light you on fire in the process. Oh? Or steal our jewelry. In fact, I think my pocket watch is missing. Oh no, how dare Henri Montauban! No, how unfortunate. Oh, I should do that more sarcastically. No, how unfortunate. One of the ladies continued her childish wailing. It is, Messiah. It's unfortunate how you allow your important guest to be treated this way. He's got a mischievous little grin on his face. I like that. Please deal with these vermins. Throw them out. No! I do wonder where he's from. His name gave me a Spanish impression at first, and he has a little darker hair and darker skin, so I don't know. Oh, my sweet ladies, I am stricken with grief at your misfortunes. Allow me to offer my heartfelt apologies. Unfortunately, this child is my important guest today, and you are, sad to say, paltry squatters. I like that attitude. Excuse me? Madam, okay. Um, okay. Madame Charlotte of Montpellier, I don't remember sending you an invite. Same for you, Lady Antoinette of Rennes. Lady Antoinette of Rennes and Lady Claudette of Lyon of. It's been a while since I've taken French. Same for you, Lady Antoinette of Rennes and Lady Claudette of Lyon. Most people I invited here are huge patrons of music. That is why they are here today. They came to listen to Mademoiselle Catherine Louise Peride. Peride? Peride. I'm gonna go with that. Mademoiselle Catherine Louise Peride. She is a 7-year-old piano prodigy who played for the Queen last summer. Aw, she's grinning. I like her. I like this guy. The man pointed at the girl, busy chewing her half of the bread. The Rose Girl just stared at the unfolding situation. Well, that's... Well, sorry, I didn't do the right voice. Well, that's... I am sure you were aware of that, were you not? No matter. I am always happy to see you, ladies. It is my pleasure to have you here. I like him. But I hope that you don't mind giving some of the food away to my townspeople. That is why I keep my gates open. My servers are instructed to serve anyone who passes by, not just my guests. Then your servants are doing a shitty job. But, do not fret, my darlings. There is plenty more to be served. The ladies blushed in embarrassment. One of them began to fan herself even faster. Oh, the insolence of this man! Oh! Excuse me. The Marquis walked up to the two girls. The Rose Girl's heart beat so fast it made her head feel light and dizzy. She had never been this close to him. It made her feel a mixture of fear and elation. Aw, yeah, she has a crush. Lady Catherine, your father has been looking for you. It is almost time for your performance. The girl looked up at the Marquis and did a little curtsy. I like the girl at the very least. Catherine. That's a child. My apologies, sire. I didn't mean to cause a clatter. Guillemette chuckled. I saw the whole thing, ma chérie. You put those ladies in their place. Like a good girl. They were being mean to her. Guillemette narrowed his eyes at the quiet girl. She hid behind her basket of roses. She couldn't look at him directly. He was like the sun, so brilliant and gorgeous. Ugh. It hurt just to be in his presence. Yet there was relief in her heart as she stepped... I can't words. Yet there was relief in her heart as he stepped closer to her. I've seen you before, haven't I? The Rose Girl nodded and made a curtsy. I deliver roses to your house sometimes, sire. Yes, the girl with the sweetest face. The Rose Girl blushed. I love your roses, by the way. They stay fresh longer than they should. You've tended to them with love. Thank you, sire. Do you have a name, young lady? About time I get to see her name, if she has one. Alright, what's the matter? It is alright, young lady. If you would rather, let's call her Rosa. Huh? Rosa! It fits her! I do like, while roses are not my favorite flower, it is a good name. I like the name Rosa. Also, my mother's name is Rose. What a coincidence. A. I think she forgot her name. I think she forgot her name, or she lost it. The Marquis nodded wisely. A valid point. Are you all right with that, Rosa? Yes. Come on, Rosa. You'll watch me play, right? I. Her eyes darted from the girl to the Marquis. Oh, Sir Gilly doesn't mind. G Gilly? He's really nice to me and my family. And he helps people around town. He won't throw you out. The Marquis held his hand in the air as if swearing an oath. I won't. See? Come on, you're invited now. You're my special guest. Aww. There's plenty of food inside too, Rosa. Please, help yourself. Thank you, sire. Rosa is coming! Yay! Now this is my first public performance, Rosa. I am a bit nervous. Catherine scratched her head. What will I do if I make a mistake? Papa will be very upset. The Marquis knelt in front of Catherine and rubbed her shoulders fondly. You won't make a mistake, ma chérie. As long as you put your heart into the keys. Play to touch your audience, and any mistake won't matter. Do you understand? Catherine stared at the Marquis. Not really? The man chuckled. Ha ha ha. I really hope I don't turn out to be a terrible person by the end of this game. Ha ha ha. You will, someday. Just play your first song with me in mind, will you? Something that you think will make me smile. Guillemette held Catherine's clear, young eyes in his gaze. He kissed her hand. It was covered with sticky sugar and breadcrumbs. Catherine blushed. It was the first time she looked embarrassed by anything. It would be my pleasure, sir. Catherine trudged up the wooden podium and walked towards the middle of the stage. The crowd's chatter died down. She curtsied in front of her audience, waved to her father, and stole a glance at Guillemette. The man gave her a tiny nod. She sat down in front of the piano, admiring the cream and ebony keys underneath her fingers. Her own piano was broken and beaten. Her father had sold his horse for it. Her own piano was broken and beaten. Father had sold his horse for it. The A3 key never played, and the strings would creak when it was cold. But it had never failed her. She knew the keys like they were her own fingers. She whispered to the new piano softly, as if coaxing a beautiful, untamed animal. Let's be friends, okay? She saw Rosa at the far end of the podium, watching her diligently. There was renewed vigor in her blood. She could hear the keys calling out to her. A song that would make him smile. She placed her fingers on the keys. She began to play. I certainly hope this song is public domain. I could talk over this, but lovely piano music. It's a nice break. For the record, I know nothing about piano, so I can't tell if this is good or bad. It's certainly a rather pretty song. Should I click at some point? At the ring of the first few notes, it became apparent to the audience that this girl was something special. Here was a little girl, barely tall enough to reach the pedals of the piano, playing as if she owned it. There were times she'd miss a note or two, but that didn't matter. She played the song to make someone smile, and it touched everyone present. Her musical skill was far beyond her years. Her fingers caressed the keys, as if she was making a flower crown, carefully weaving the petals. She knew the correct way to tie the leaves so they wouldn't tear, like all the smart little girls did. As the piano sang under her hands, Catherine seemed to disappear right in front of the audience's eyes. She was just a vision, after all, somebody leading them down a dream. A dream of a garden, the springtime, the shade of a tree on a windy day. The couples in the audience tightened their grip on the hands of their partners. Some closed their eyes and let the music saturate their soul. Sweet memories of youth. A first love. The yawn of a newborn. Rosa's eyes shone as she stared at Catherine. Her heart was captured by this image of her. A young girl swaying her head to the music, smiling as the notes poured out of her. She couldn't take her eye away from Catherine's glowing face. Was this happiness? Was this love? She looked like she was in love. And she was, wasn't she? In her innocence, she was still in love with life. In love with her family, with her pets, in love with every new discovery. She was full of hope. It was a bittersweet feeling for Rosa. A happy teardrop rolled down her cheek. She wanted to warm herself in that hope if she could. In the audience, Guillemette and Catherine's father sat beside each other. Sire, Sire Periday, 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 Sire Periday, your daughter is amazing. She is, isn't she? I'm so proud of my little daughter. Such a prodigy of the piano. I try my best. I mean, pardon my arrogance, my liege. Also, I was totally right. Middle class. He's a farmer, rich enough to be able to, afford a piano. Give it if upon selling some prized possessions, but not in poverty. So yeah, maybe like low middle class, I guess. Well, I guess middle class in these days was low. In any case, I'm a very proud father, you see. No pardon necessary, sire. Has she found a sponsor yet? The Duke of Versailles once spoke to me about it, but we have not made any arrangements. Actually, my roommate is a costume person. She might be able to peg exactly when this is. I don't know French fashions that much. Like, again, my guess would be Revolutionary War because the fashion statements here would look to be similar to that of during the American Revolution-ish period, and people like Thomas Jefferson were quite quite into France at the time. Yeah. The Duke of Versailles once spoke to me about it. We have not made any arrangements. Then I must steal her away as soon as possible. Sire? I'd like to be Catherine's primary sponsor, if that is all right with you. Why, sire! And to further cement my status, that piano she is playing right now, it is hers. I've brought it for her. Francois's eyes widened in astonishment. That is... Francois gulped. That is beyond generous, sire. Guillemette smiled. Well, I must make it hard for you to refuse me, you see? I took the opportunity of asking you outright. You see, the Duke might offer an extravagant piano plated in gold. In that case, I have no choice but to humbly concede. What? I like this guy. He's playing the politics like a freaking fiddle. If this girl is really worth the Count of Versailles, the Lord of Versailles' time, and she wants her, he's gonna play hard to get and be like, oh well, I don't know, because he's gonna try to put her value at less than what she actually is worth. And so by him outright being like, yeah, I want to sponsor you, and here's my going wage, that means that if the Lord of Versailles really wants her, he'll really have to crank up the price. I like it. I love it. I like him. Yes. Oh, the politics game. I love it. I am kidding. The Duke of Versailles is the worst miser you will ever meet. Yep, again, he was trying to push some pennies, trying to save him some money on how much she's actually worth, and he's just like, but if you get another sponsor, I guess I'll have to concede. The men chuckled. What's the price gouging? Yeah, he's just gonna price gouge the rest of the competition, and I love that. Of course, I shall be paying for her musical tutoring as required, along with an ample stipend to accommodate your family. Oh my. You don't have to look so surprised, Monsieur Paradis. Your daughter is a star. There is an effervescence about her that enraptures the soul. There is no doubt in my mind that she will succeed. Thank you deeply, my liege. Please call me by my name, Messire. Messari. Yeah, Messari. Messari. Let me remind you, this generosity isn't without charge. Her tutoring will be done at my house. I want to monitor her progress. Apart from that, I'd very much like Catherine to visit me and play from time to time. I mean, heck, if this guy was literally plucking me out of like obscurity and almost poverty, like being a fairly poor farmer, fuck, she can slap my ass and call me a wang doodle. I'd do anything. I don't know. Music is one of my true passions. I mean, there's very little I wouldn't do for enough money, personally. Her presence would benefit my mood tenfold. Of course, sire. It is a small price to pay for all your offers, as long as she can visit the family every once in a while, of course. On the contrary, Messiah. Missouri. You don't have to decide now. Kindly think about it. Thank you, my lord. Sire Guillemot. After the performance, Catherine and Rosa went to the Marquis's garden to play. Francois and Guillemot lingered on their table, sorting out deals of Catherine's further education. Emile Pirede, Emile Pirede, Emile Paride wandered about the crowd, searching for a familiar face. She arrived halfway through Catherine's performance, just in time to gush at her little sister's applause. Unfortunately, she couldn't find her father in the crowd. When she finally caught sight of the back of his head, she approached him hastily. "Father, there you Father, father, there you are! I've been looking all over for you." Emile stopped as she saw the man her father was talking to. It was none other but the Marquis himself. She fixed her hair self-consciously and curtsied. "My lord, pardon my intrusion, I didn't realize." Guillemot smiled at her kindly. "You are free to intrude any time, my lady." Emile smiled back, just as rumor said. The Marquis was easy on the eyes. "To whom do I owe the pleasure of your acquaintance?" "This is my eldest daughter, Emile. Is it supposed to be like Emily? This is my eldest daughter, Emile. Please pardon me for not introducing her sooner. My mouth is absolute rubbish. The tip of the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the lips, and the teeth. The tip of the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the lips, and the teeth. This is my eldest daughter, Emile. Pardon me for not introducing her sooner." Charmed, Guillemot offered her a seat. Emile sat down across the man. "Well, it seems that talent and good looks run in the family." Francois rubbed his neck. "Yes, my daughters are my pride and joy. Thankfully, they both took after their mother." "Surely not, Monsieur Pirede. The eyes are yours, earnest and loving eyes." "Oh, that's so sweet." And it does look like they have similar eye colors. Might be a little lighter than his. Emile snorted. Emile, Emile snorted at such sappy words. Her father was clearly basking in the compliments. If this was really the famous Guillemot the rumors talked about, then he wasn't exactly much of a charmer, was he? She didn't know what all the fuss was about. The ladies in the house she worked for could not seem to stop talking about this man. Admittedly, there was something morbidly curious about the way he looked at people. Like he was always distracted and could only say words that were expected of him. "I'm pleased to have finally met you, sire. I've heard a lot about you on my travels." "All good things, I hope." Again, this is supposed to be a dark, bad game, so, I can't help but wonder things expected of him. Could that be foreshadowing to that this man is wearing a mask of sorts? Depends on the tabloid and the day of the week. Emile thought to herself and chuckled. "You are a governess, I was told. Where do you work?" With the Dimitri household, sire." "Ah, yes. I heard you were marrying into the family soon." "Oh, father, I told you not to tell anybody yet." "I didn't, but you know how people talk. Word travels fast." Pardon the comment, then, my lady." "Please." "Your betrothed is a lucky man, I'm sure." Alright, so she's engaged to Mary. I was wondering if they were going to be a thing, but she looks like she can see right through him and his politeness, in his formalities. The conversation endured through the afternoon. Small talk, musical composers, their little town. Catherine's musical background, Francois's students, Emile's work. Emile played with her napkin, offering droll opinions on the particularly droll topics. All throughout the exchange, Emile observed the infamous Marquis de Gull. This was him? The audacious, shameless flirt of the royal court and tabloids? According to rumors, he was able to bed both the widowed Countess of Devonshire and her daughter at the same time. That's a little gross. Don't think that a daughter's an adult, but given the time period this is, it could very well not be. She even had a tumultuous relationship with the Prince of Garnet. He didn't limit himself to royalty, or so the tabloids said. His latest fling was with an English poet, who they say almost killed him when he caught with another man. Ooh, or woman. I mean, again, if these people are all consenting adults, that's actually kind of funny. I like it. At this point, who knew what was real and what was a blatant lie made up by the newspapers? She had looked forward to meeting him. And here he was, finally, talking about sampling the new bakery's creme brulee. She couldn't say she was disappointed exactly, but the Marquis was a depressingly normal man. Maybe even boring, Emile ventured. She watched as his gaze flickered across her hair and her nose before lazily trailing away. How infuriating. She wondered if he would suddenly say something coy, or insist to dance with her. Just something outrageous. Honestly, she could shoot him down. This man whom everyone was interested in. That would be a small victory for reasonable women everywhere. But the Marquis was nothing but polite. He did not ogle. He did not touch unnecessarily. No audacious gestures or suggestive winks of the eye. He would not even look at her for more than 2 seconds. Maybe she was not pretty enough to flirt with? Lady, that is how he reels you in. He's playing hard to get. Don't be deceived by him. Emile bit her lip. She shouldn't be thinking that. But there were also times that he would quietly look into her eyes when the conversation lulled. When the words spoken were without meaning, her eyes would converse further. Their eyes would converse further. To Emile, he started to look lonely underneath the facade of caprice. He seemed tired of all the gallivanting, the rumors, and the numerous flings. We are all a little lonely, aren't we? Perhaps even he? He invited family over to his chateau and commented on how empty the building felt sometimes. Music was his guilty pleasure. It got him through the cold nights, he said with a sad grin. How he wouldn't mind a warm soul touch. And before she could stop herself, Emile began to imagine his lips on her neck. On one of those cold, Knights. Ah, 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 you're so easy. You're so easy. Oh man. Emil shook her head, trying to erase the thoughts in her mind. They were having a perfectly mundane conversation. She didn't know where those thoughts came from. Fortunately, her father didn't seem to notice. Music and loneliness struck a nerve with Francois Pirede. He had immersed himself in his music tutoring, his students, and Catherine ever since his wife had gotten sick. It had been 6 years. But sometimes the nights were cold. For Francois, the Marquis was speaking to his soul. He was a kindred spirit. Or he's lying. He wasn't a pompous showboat like the other royalty Catherine had played for. The Marquis even had a wine collection he wanted to show Francois. Such a down-to-earth, generous young man. Emile, your face is flushed. Are you all right? I'm fine. Just the sun, probably. This was not true, of course. The afternoon sun had already lost most of its heat. Thankfully, Catherine provided a distraction. She ran towards their little huddle and flung her arms around her father's torso, chattering happily about gardens and butterflies. A young, ragged girl followed behind her. Emile wasn't sure how old the girl was. Her dirty blonde hair hid the left side of her face. You could just see faint traces of scars peeking through. A surge of motherly affection caught hold of her heart. "Hello there, young lady." The girl looked down at her toes, but she gave her a shy smile. "I see you've made a crown of flowers. You look very pretty." "Thank you, madame. Catherine gave it to me." "Sister, this is Rosa. She's really nice. She knows the name of all the flowers in Sir Gilly's garden." "Catherine, there you go again with your silly names." "Sister, help me convince Papa to let Rosa stay with us." "Catherine?" "Papa, please, please let her stay with us. She doesn't have anywhere to go." "Now, Catherine, that is not very nice, but it's true, we're homeless. Rosa here is a girl. She's not a kitten you can just pluck from the street and take home like you always do with stray animals. Goodness knows we have all the stray cats of France living in our house." "Yes, I know she's not a kitten. I know she's a girl. But shouldn't we take her home even more so?" Francois sighed. Guillemette chuckled under his breath. He was clearly enjoying this exchange. Your daughters have some very unique views, Sir Pirede." "Well, Sir Gilly, what do you think?" "Huh?" Guillemet's face lost his casual bystander look. "You're a Marquis. I'm sure my father would follow your orders, right? Shouldn't we take Rosa home?" "Shouldn't take her home because she's gonna stay with me." Guillemet's brows furrowed at being put on the spot so suddenly. He stole a glance at Francois, who was silently pleading him with his eyes not to humor the child. He cleared his throat. "Well, I'm sure it is up to your father since he owns the house. He will have to clothe and feed Rosie, you see?" "Yes, but I've got that all figured out. Ever since Sister moved to work, nobody minds the house anymore. And I have to wash the dishes every time. Ugh. Catherine is so much like me, I like her. Okay, if I can trust no one else in this game, I'm gonna trust Catherine. I'm gonna trust Catherine because she seems like a good child, a good girl, a good girl. And she's determined, and she's sassy, and she's talented, and she's innocent, and she's smart. I like her. So if I trust no one else in this game, I'm gonna trust Catherine. Papa's so busy, and we always have enough food for the two of us. If Rosa stays, then I won't be so lonely on my own. She'll wear sister's old clothes and will mind the house when both sister and father are away. She can wash the dishes sometimes, and I'll wash them sometimes. Guillaume and Francois shared a look. And besides, if it were me, I'd have people take one girl home in their house. And besides, if it were me, I'd have people take one girl home in their house and give her food. Girls don't even eat that much. Not sure about boys. She thought for a bit. But I'm sure it's not too much that people can't take them home too. One time I ate a whole plate of potatoes and my stomach hurt. If Rosa was there, I wouldn't have eaten so much. Maybe. I relate to this girl. Also, like, that is a genuinely very kind thing to do, especially since, they're gonna get paid quite a handsome commission by Lord Guillaume, and so therefore they should be able to make more than enough to be able to support Rosa. Um, uh, yeah. Guillaume couldn't help but laugh. Francois rubbed his neck in embarrassment. I'm so sorry, sire. She's very headstrong. Father, Father, I'm sure taking Rosa in wouldn't be much trouble for us financially, yes? My new work pays better, and I'm sure we can adjust. Well, about that. Perhaps if Rosa works in my household, it wouldn't be much of a burden to your family, Sir Pierre. Oh. Sir Gilly is great! You are truly a kind soul, sire. Not at all. I'm sure I need her help more than she needs mine. Isn't that right, Rosa? Uh, in that case, I would love to offer my home to Rosa. Although I'm still worried that this is I'm worried that this is supposed to be more complicated, sire. What about her family or her friends? Are we violating any laws, perhaps? I'm not even sure. As long as it is consensual, sire. The details can be smoothed out later. The girl was quiet the whole time. She was looking at her toes, or at Catherine. Rosa, do you have any family? Relatives or family you stay with? No, sire. My mother died a long time ago. But she guides me always. So please don't be compelled to mind me. No, don't go back to the streets, Rosa. It's September. It's going to be really cold soon. Sir Gilly will even give you work. Stay with us. But Catherine... Francois sighed in surrender. All right. She can stay for the night. Papa! Just for tonight. But then we'll see if she wants to stay for longer. Catherine, you cannot hold people in their place just because you want them there, do you understand? If Rosa wants to leave, she may leave. You cannot keep her like an object. Guillaume cleared his throat. That is sound advice, Sir Pierre. Yes, Papa, I understand. Rosa, please make yourself comfortable in our home. Thank you. Papa is the best. Catherine turned to Guillaume again. Sir Gilly, don't you think that Don't you think if everyone with a house takes one person home, nobody would freeze in winter? You should make it into a law. They'll obey you because you're a marquis, and because you're tall. Oh, so people obey my orders because I'm tall? What a compliment! Well, taller than my papa at least. He'll never be a marquis. Francois pulled on his daughter's ear with embarrassment. Catherine, mind your manners. I'm so sorry, sire. Gilme shook his head, trailing over the Pieridae family. Emile watched him curiously. The same sadness once again surfaced for the briefest moment. You have a lovely family, sire. I'm quite jealous. You make me want to settle down myself some day. He chuckled. Maybe. Well, if you don't have like a million bastard children already. Emile's heart skipped a beat. Did he just look at her when he said that? She couldn't be sure. Catherine is perfect the way she is. It is one of the reasons why I am very invested in her. Aw. Gilme knelt down so that he was eye to eye with Catherine. He patted her head. You are a very intelligent and kind-hearted girl, Catherine. You are a star. Mon étoile. Someday, I know you will change the world. At least, I'd like to see you try. Mother. Oh no. Help me. My chest. I can't breathe. No. C Catherine! La piqûre. I'm gonna save right there. Return. It is funny, is it not? Uh, they always leave you. Such is the way of the world. The more you love, the more you lose. Oh, it seems like they'll stay forever, but they never do. I'm the only one who stays, my lovely Rose. My love is the only love you need. You were always so weak, always so loving to people who did not deserve it. I told you to get rid of her, didn't I? I told you to be wary. I knew it from the start, my Rose. She was nothing but selfish. She led you astray. Generally speaking, I'd rather she be led astray and not accused. Like I mean, everyone's selfish from time to time. Um. Mm, oh, we're talking about Catherine. She's nothing but selfish. She is, but she's not terrible. She's not a bad person. She led you astray. Maybe. I guess you fought so hard. You never used to fight with me. But now she killed herself. Your sacrifice lost in her selfish ways. Oh, saying she's selfish about I don't like that sentiment. I really, really don't like the sentiment that people who kill themselves are selfish. I really don't. I knew she would just cause you pain. I'm glad she is dead. No! I'm glad you are back to me, I guess. I was so worried about you, darling. She almost led you astray. Away from me. Trust in your mother, darling. I am just glad to have you back to myself. Your silence bothers me, child. She was important to me, mother. I loved her. Mother only laughed as Rosa screamed out her pain. Rosa felt strong arms shake her awake. Yes, did Rosa love Catherine platonically or romantically? I like to think yes, yes to all of the above. Although I know, love her, love her. Although I think that platonic love is just the best kind of love. So I hope that she loved her intensely and platonically, because that's just me. Rosa. She opened her eyes and was hit by a strange sadness that crushed her. She was dazed. She was dazed for a moment. Why was she so sad? And then she remembered. Her best friend was gone. She was gone. Oh, Guilherme grew up. Rosa. Rosa? How are you feeling? Guilherme sat by her bed, a hand in hers. Rosa didn't realize she had been holding on onto it so tightly in her fitful sleep. She broke from his grasp and clutched her knees. Rosa. She remained silent. I came to check on you. You went into shock and lost consciousness. I can only imagine how hard it must have been for you to see her. Like that. His words echoed in her brain, yet she did not register much of their meaning. Rosa still refused to speak, and Guilherme fidgeted with his glove. The wake will take place as soon as possible, Rosa. I just wanted to let you know that she is being taken care of. He's hiding something. There was a slight triumph in Mother's voice. He wants to get rid of her body as soon as possible. Don't you see it, child? Tell me you're not falling for this. Rosa was tired. Mother, always the cynic, would say such things. She hated anyone who came close to Rosa's heart. Rosa didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to deal with anything right now. All she wanted to do was wallow in her loneliness. To curl up inside the hole Catherine had left behind and sleep. My child, tell me you see it. Remember the fear in Catherine's eyes in her last days. Look at how he is unperturbed by Catherine's death. To be fair, he might be keeping up a strong face just to comfort her in her time of need. I think if Catherine was afraid of him, that would be something to be concerned about. Remembering the fear in Catherine's eyes in her last days. You have seen it, haven't you? She was mostly hostile. But sometimes, when her sanity returned, she was afraid. Afraid of this man. How well do you know him, child? I've known him for as long as I knew Catherine, Mother. He is a close friend. I didn't ask how long you've known him, but how well. Beyond the mask that he displays in public view, do you even know his past? Do you even know any of his ambitions or secrets? He was always a private man, Mother. Think back, child. Isn't it curious how all his past relationships have ended in disaster? Everything he touches crumbles. That is not enough to accuse him of anything. Maybe he's just cursed with bad luck. It's possible. It's possible. But but it is a bit suspicious that you would think that after all your time of knowing him, of working for him, of 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 being with him, that something would show. That you'd be able to see have a glimpse past the facade. Like it is a bit suspicious to me that you don't. But again, everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt before anything else. Not enough to accuse him of anything. You you idiot. He is different. He does not belong. You have felt it too, haven't you? Rosa looked at Guilherme with new eyes now. A hint of doubt slithered out from beneath her sadness. Rosa wanted something to blame, a cask for all her regrets. Guilherme seemed like the perfect candidate, didn't he? Yes, you're finally seeing it. Open your eyes, child. It made sense. Guilherme and Catherine's relationship began to pewter off into coldness right before she died. Her mental instability only served to compound the fracture in their relationship. Perhaps Guilherme was tired of her and had her killed off for convenience? Or perhaps Catherine, in her psychotic state, killed herself off to spite him? Rosa stared at the man beside her. He is not to be trusted, child. He is a demon. Guilherme returned Rosa's angry stare with a resolute look. I know you must hate me, Rosa. I'm aware that I only aggravated Catherine's condition with my presence. I know the feeling when I am not wanted. He stood up, a hard yet kind look on his face. Just remember that I will always be here for you. As much as I was there for Catherine, even though she spat me out. Rosa bit her lip. When Catherine refused to eat, it had been Guilherme who fed her and attended to her. Despite Catherine hurling abuse at him, he had tried to care for the sick woman himself. Lies, all lies. Keeping up appearances. Then what is it? Then what is it that he has done, Mother? Catherine committed suicide. It was not by his hand that she died. Are you just going to leave it at that? Look at his face and tell me you trust him wholeheartedly. Rosa tried to search for the answer in Guilherme's eyes. But as always, his face betrayed only few emotions. I don't know. Mother was screaming now. He killed her! I am sure he did. And you're letting him get away with it. Please, my head hurts. And you say you loved her. You never loved her, you selfish child. I've always known you were this selfish. Just like your father. Stop. You throw people away. Didn't you throw me away when I inconvenienced you? Admit it. You were secretly relieved I died. No, stop it! She screamed back at that last voice. Her mouth quivered. Guilherme stared at Rosa in shock. The outburst had accidentally come out loud. It pulled a plug that kept the tears from pouring out. Now, her vision clouded, she blinked them away again and again. She was not sobbing. She did not even realize her face was wet. Guilherme and Rosa stared at each other, both kindred in their sorrow. He knelt down by Rosa's bed and whispered and wiped her tears with his hand. He did not say anything while doing this, and Rosa stared blankly ahead. It almost stunned her how many tears a person's eyes could carry. I mean, they regenerate, so of course. I loved her too, Rosa. He said it after a while. I know what you're feeling. She didn't know if it was her own or if Mother's anger was somehow influencing her, but her chest heaved. She balled up her fists so tightly that her fingernails hurt. Shut up. She spat at the man. She spat at the man, recoiled at the uncharacteristic bitterness of her words. Catherine was afraid of you in her last days. You did something to her. I know it. She could feel Mother inside her head, building up her anger. He has to be punished. You are to blame. He has to atone. I know you are guilty. He must be punished. Guillaume stared at her, dumbfounded for a few seconds. But the man didn't try to appease her. He only stepped closer to Rosa and wrapped his arms around the hysterical girl. No. Let go of me. I hate you. Let me go. But Guillaume didn't. If you need something to hate, then I'll accept your hate. But you must accept my comfort too. I need you to right now, Rosa. You are the only one who loved her as much as I did. Guillaume's words brought back Catherine in Rosa's mind. Almost at once, the anger was replaced with sadness so heavy she couldn't breathe. Why was she so angry again? She was focusing on anger instead of pain. It was easier. The real tears came, all for the loss of the girl they both loved. Tomorrow was not going to come. There was only right now, the loss, and the two friends mourning a loved one. Rosa cried until she wouldn't be able to stop, and Guillaume quietly held her. Slowly her weeping began to subside into sobs, and only then did he speak again. Stay in the chateau, Rosa. I know you are thinking of leaving now that Catherine is gone. But I can't let you wander the streets again. I will take care of you. It's what Catherine would have wanted. Like a spell being broken, these words brought back her anger. How could you possibly know what Catherine wants? She pushed his arms away from her. She's dead. Guillaume's mouth pursed, and he stepped away. I want you to go. Please, leave me. Guillaume sighed and closed his eyes. I understand. He turned on his heels and left without another word. Hours seemed like minutes to her. She'd fall asleep and awaken in unfit intervals so often that she had lost the exact time. Awake, she would stare at a part of the wall with no coherent thoughts forming in her mind. One would think morning should be spent in a depressive frenzy. All the reasons to grieve are yours, after all. She could wail now if she wanted. She could pull on her hair, curse the skies. She could reminisce the past, admire the frailty of human lives. Unfortunately, it was something less poetic. Pain. It was simple. It was clean. It was a well-sharpened knife that sliced through the heart in one stroke. No blood, no mess. Empty. Her tears were spent. There was just a hole where your heart had been. The hurt called out to you. It lingered. But since there was nothing there anymore, you couldn't find where the pain ended and you began. Rosa slept all day. The sun had gone down twice before she shifted from her bed. She stood up deliberately with a purpose. My child, I hurt when you're hurt. Already a surge of power flooded within her, fueled by her grief. The power filled her up, and there was so much emptiness inside that the energy seemed to saturate her whole body. Purpose was always a balm for grief. Mother, tell me what to do. Justice, I guess. Start with his guilt, child. Then deliver punishment fitting for one so vile. He cannot get away with this. Alright, here's the thing. I don't know that Guillaume is guilty of anything. But whatever happens, it must be justice first before revenge. If you are to punish someone for a crime, you need to have proof, concrete evidence that they did wrong before you genuinely pursue it, especially when he's this close to you. If you're truly this close, then certainly you can find evidence, and then your wrath will be holy. You shouldn't give punishment that is undue. You trusted Catherine, but you trust Guillaume too, and so therefore he deserves at least a chance at trial. Rosa didn't speak, but she started to form the words in her mind, feeling them with her bones, giving life to every thought. She took a small knife and carved a symbol on her floor. It didn't need much. A guilt spell. It didn't aim to punish. It only aimed to inform. She needed to know how much guilt the man carried and the source of such guilt. If the guilt was concrete and came from a direct action, then she would know Guillaume did something to Catherine. It had been a while since she had used magic. It used to be the only way she could protect herself from the world. Mother had taught her, and now Mother guided her as she cast her spell. She needed a possession of the man. Rosa opted for his voice, still fresh from memory. She focused on the last conversation they shared. Guillaume, if you need something to hate, I will take care of you. I need you. His words made Rosa feel stress and confusion. Always, it was always this way with him. The feeling wasn't foreign, it had been there for years. I will always be here for you. Rosa felt a violent force upturn her stomach. It was such a horrid lurch just before, it was that horrid lurch just before vomiting. You failed. The spell collapsed in her brain. Focus, idiot child, or you'll lose your chance. Rosa tried again. This time she focused on Guillaume's eyes. Cold, like flints of steel, dark and fathomless. No grief, except perhaps for the situation. No, Catherine. No pain of loss. This didn't matter to her. The relationship was dying anyway. Where was his guilt? Rosa dug deeper. She increased the chanting on her lips. No torment, no uncertainty, no guilt. Did the spell fail again? She searched once more and found nothing. There was no guilt in Guillaume's eyes. She could stop the spell now, knowing that he was innocent. If the spell had worked, then Guillaume was blameless. But his absence was most distressing. Rosa desperately pushed her mind further. almost wishing there were traces hiding beyond her reach. Guilt should be present in any loss, no matter how little. Don't we blame ourselves for our own loss? Don't we hate ourselves and punish ourselves, even if it wasn't our fault? It didn't have to be real, but we need guilt to feel pain. But Gilme didn't have a sliver of guilt. For a moment there, I thought it said, but Gilme didn't have survivor guilt, which is basically the same thing. The vicious pain took hold of her again, squeezing her stomach with murderous intent. The pain was so great, Rosa wasn't sure if the spell had failed or succeeded. Something is wrong. Before Rosa could agree with Mother, she felt a sharp pain in her throat. Rosa clutched at her neck, scraping and scratching. A sharp, jagged lump was blocking her breathing. She could feel its edges crawl up her windpipe, tearing the soft walls as it moved about. The pain did not stop. Rosa fell to her knees and gagged. Huge drips of blood-spotted spit rained down her chin. She thrashed about like a woman being strangled. Mother remained calm, unaffected by Rosa's distress. Rosa was about to expel whatever it was. Tears ran down her face. The horrible acidic taste coated her tongue. Finally, she opened her mouth and forced the vile thing out. She kept her eyes shut, afraid to look at whatever had come out of her. But the choking feeling gripped her, and she puked again. The liquid dripping down her mouth thickened and congealed. It wasn't spit anymore, but blood. It gathered around her knees in a growing pool. Rosa panted. Every breath was laced with pain. But the gruesome effect had finally stopped. She wiped the sweat on her forehead. Something on the floor reflected light. She struggled to comprehend what was in front of her. She reached out with her hand, and the prick of something sharp made her recoil. She tried again, this time seeing more clearly. Rosa picked up the thing with shaking hands. Needles. In her palms were a handful of long metal needles. She had regurgitated them along with blood and jagged pieces of flesh. Rosa examined them with a horrified kind of curiosity. She stuck her thumb in one and it drew more blood. They were real. They had materialized in her throat while casting the spell on Guilme. Rosa wiped her mouth. There was something wrong with him. Something potent and dark. Or could it be that she merely botched the spell horribly? She had pushed the limits this time. She had gone too far. Still, a tugging concern was forming. It was as real as the metal needles in her hand. Rosa tried to stand on her feet, but she was exhausted. Her knees failed her, and she crumpled on the floor like a rag. We must get to the bottom of this. Are you quite all right, my darling? Now you see it too. There is a sinister force at work. Get up. We have lots of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. You must find out what he is and stop him. Rosa stared at the needles in her hand. Who are you really, Guilme? Chapter 3. Potre Candelet. Okay. I think that's a good place to stop for tonight. That was quite unnerving. Unnerving indeed. Oh, that's some good horror right there. A real roller coaster of emotions. I really admire the writing of this. I really want to know what's going on here. Again, everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, but it is bizarre that he doesn't feel any guilt. And the first thing that she focused on was his voice, and she wasn't able to get anything out of it. does this represent, like, I just wonder, I again, there's kind of two things that come to mind with this. Either Gilme is is something, a creature of something, or has some sort of powerful magic, and that was his way of defending himself, defending, keeping Rosa from his mind, or it was or or there is something that is keeping him from doing as he'd like, something that's holding him back, something that rules over him, so totally that he is unable to do anything. Um, and therefore, when she tried to understand his voice further, instead she experienced what he experiences. She experienced his his curse, this thing that isn't allowing him to speak, that is putting needles in his throat, so to speak, forcing him to speak with measured terms. So, needless to say, I'm very curious to see where this goes. So, with that, let's save. And, yes, I will see you in the next episode. I do wonder where this is going. I'm very curious. I'm not very good at solving them, but I love mysteries, so I'm really excited to see where this goes. So in any case, I guess that's it for now. So until next time, until next video, bye!